The pregnant bear drags herself out of the shadows of Cedar Ridge forest, her movements mutilated by agony. Her swollen belly hangs so low it brushes the frost-kissed ground with each trembling step. A steel snare coils viciously around her hind leg, the metal buried deep into muscle, soaked in dried blood and dirt. Every shift of weight tears at her flesh and steals her breath. She should be hidden away in some thick, quiet den awaiting her cubs. But tonight, desperation overrides instinct. Ahead, headlights glow faintly through the trees. A ranger truck hums up the gravel service road. She sees the light. She hears the engine. Something ancient and terrified inside her pushes her forward anyway. Step by dragging step, she limps toward the vehicle, ignoring the distant huffs of other bears calling to her from deeper in the woods. She pushes forward until she is only a few feet from the front bumper, and then, breaking every law of survival etched into her blood, she lowers herself onto her front knees. Her paws fold beneath her, her head bows low to the earth, her sides heave with ragged, broken breaths. This is not a display of power. This is not a warning. This is a plea. For her life, and for the lives of the unborn cubs she can no longer protect. Inside the truck, Ranger Luke Harrison slams on the brakes so hard the tires skid. His heart batters at his ribs. In 20 years patrolling Cedar Ridge, he has never seen anything like this. A bear, massive, wounded, trembling, kneeling before him like some fallen guardian of the forest. He knows the odds. If he approaches too quickly, she could kill him in seconds. If he stays inside the truck, she will bleed out before dawn. He kills the engine, grabs his field kit, bolt cutters, antiseptic spray, gauze, antibiotics, and a flare gun, and steps out with raised hands.
Easy, girl.
Easy, girl. I'm here. Her eyes track him with a blend of fear, pain, and a devastating flicker of hope. She doesn't rise, doesn't roar. Instead, she shifts her weight, trying to ease the agony in her trapped leg, and lets out a low, desperate whine. Luke kneels a few feet away and finally sees the wound clearly. The cable has carved deep through layers of muscle. Infection has already set in. With night falling fast, wolves and coyotes will be drawn to the scent of blood. Time is slipping away. His hands shake as he positions the bolt cutters. Sweat stings his eyes despite the cold. Hold on, Mama. Just hold on. He edges nearer, murmuring softly as if calming a frightened horse. Her ears flick, but she doesn't lash out. That bowed head remains still, an unspoken agreement. Trust, something almost sacred. He clamps down with all his strength. The steel groans stubbornly. The bear trembles, her muscles quivering under the strain. Come on, he whispers. And then, snap! The wire recoils with a metallic twang. Fresh blood spills down her leg. She collapses forward, panting in agony. Luke surges into motion. He sprays antiseptic, apologizing under his breath each time the pain makes her jerk. He wraps the leg tightly, his fingers moving fast and sure. He injects antibiotics, praying it is enough. Through it all, her dark eyes never leave him, not with anger, but with something deeper, relief, gratitude. When he steps back, breathless and aching, she tests her leg. She winces but stands, trembling but upright. You're okay, Luke whispers. You're gonna make it. And then something impossible happens. The bear steps forward and gently nudges her nose against the back of his hand. Warm, heavy, intentional. Not a warning, a thank you. Luke freezes, throat tight, tears stinging his eyes. The queen of Cedar Ridge, fearsome, wild, untamed, has just offered a moment of vulnerability that feels almost holy. She holds his gaze for a long heartbeat, then turns and limps into the forest, her silhouette fading into the deepening dusk. He watches until she disappears completely. Go home, girl. Let those babies live. Months pass. Winter buries Cedar Ridge under a heavy quilt of snow. Poachers leave new snares. Wolves grow bolder. Luke scans the forest during every patrol for some sign of her, but she never appears. Still, her memory clings to him. The nudge, the trust, the impossible grace in her eyes. Then, during the blistering heat of July, everything changes. Luke's truck hits a hidden sinkhole. The world flips. Metal screams. Glass shatters. His leg snaps beneath the crushed dashboard, pinning him. Blood pools at his feet. His radio hisses static. No signal, no backup, no chance. His vision blurs. He fights to stay conscious. The forest grows too quiet, the kind of quiet that usually comes before predators arrive. He braces himself for the worst. Then, a low rumble vibrates through the ground. He forces his eyes open. The bear emerges from the brush. Healthier, stronger. Her coat gleams, and beside her, 2 cubs, tumbling over each other, playful yet alert. Luke's breath catches. "You made it. You're alive." She approaches slowly, studying him, circling the wreck. Her cubs sniff curiously at the crushed metal. Luke waits for the moment. Instinct turns her protective. But instead, she lowers her head to his trapped arm and nudges him again, firmer this time, urging him to stay awake. Then she turns toward the trees and unleashes a deep, powerful roar that rolls through the forest like thunder. Not a threat, not an attack, a signal. Another roar follows, louder, deeper. Her cubs fan out around the overturned truck, forming a loose protective ring. Luke blinks hard. She's guarding him, calling for help the only way she knows. Minutes stretch into forever. Luke drifts in and out of consciousness. But before he fades completely, he hears engines, voices, shouts. Rangers burst through the clearing and stop dead in disbelief. A bear family guarding a wounded man. They rush Luke, ripping apart the weight metal until they free him. As he's lifted onto a stretcher, Luke turns his head. The bear stands still, watching him. No nudge this time, just a long, steady gaze, quiet as a vow. Debt repaid. She disappears into the forest once more, her cubs bounding after her. 2 years later, Luke stands on a ridge overlooking the Cedar Ridge riverbank. He sees her, the same bear, her cubs now nearly grown, standing in the shallows of the water. She lifts her head, meeting his gaze across the distance. No fear, no approach, just recognition. A silent acknowledgement of the bond forged on nights thick with fear and hope. Luke exhales gently. "Thank you, guardian of the ridge." And somewhere in the hush of the trees, the forest seems to breathe its answer, proof that compassion never dies. It simply waits in the wild, ready to return in ways no one expects. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps more people see the miracles that still happen between humans and the wild. Every click helps keep these stories alive and reminds the world that kindness always finds its way back.